Alright, let's go. Final quest. And then we have to do the super quest. Or at least, if there is a super quest. That probably won't come until later on. Excuse me, kind sir. Pardon my forthrightness, but might I beg a moment of your time? I work under Professor Tankin, and am in search of a capable botanist to assist with his research. That is your profession, is it not? In which case, I wish to discuss potential employment for the facility of anthropology. Assuming, that is, you have an interest in our work. Of course I do. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. Magnificent. Searchers meet. Where we currently find ourselves is a place where gleaners connect with the facility and students of the studium. It allows us to acquire the necessary materials for our studies and also provide us with a place to store supplies and specimens. And with your help, I believe I may be able to produce what is needed for the professor's research. Of course, such work is pre-dedicated on the assumption Professor Tankin has decided on a focus for his next project, which sadly he has not. Would you say he's the indecisive sort? Oh, that is certainly one way of putting it. If he doesn't hurry and submit a research proposal to the studium soon, he will be unable to secure funding for his work, why his very tenure could be cut short. It would be a great loss for the studium, as he is a remarkable scholar, a very definition of calm and collected until he discovers something that piques his interest. Then his eyes widen and his cheeks take up a rosy hue. Honestly, it's like he regresses to being a young boy. Returning to the topic at hand, the first task would be to procure Professor Taken himself. I imagine you'll find him somewhere in Naumanon, if you would be so kind. Wonderful. And when you find him, pray offer him this slice of our kind loaf. Like as not, he's forgotten to eat as usual. The sheer size of the library can prove daunting at times, but I have spent enough time with the professor to know he is in there somewhere. Oh. Guys, pudding way. Wait. Pudding way? By pudding was it needed to stop the final days after all? I preserve. But I persevere. Once people taste it, they'll be even more happier. They'll be even happier than they were before the apocalypse started. I just know it. Run away! Yo, what's up? Damn it, I succumb to the sweet song of slumber yet again. She always strikes when I least suspect it. I don't suppose you would happen to have a morsel of food to spare on your person. I seem to have built up quite an appetite while dead to the world. Oh, we've all been there. Hanganashi sent you, huh? Of course she would insist that I eat archon loaf. At any rate, you have my thanks. I hope you did not think me rude for indulging right away. Then this ought to silence my stomach for a while. Truly, I am indebted to you, sir. Dozing in the midst of research is an all too common and routinely ignored occurrence around here. There's no telling how long I would have slept had you not come in when you did. In fact, it calls to mind the tale of a researcher seeking a means to traverse the ethereal sea. He wished to do so while still amongst the living, you see, but they found him dead in the midst of a pile of books. But that is neither here or there. I take you are come seeking employment. Your timing is quite fortuitous, as I but recently decided upon a topic for my thesis. Pray accompany to the scholars' meet once more, and I shall explain all to you there. Special. Oh my god, this song. Very special. Well, 90% of my skills are just gone. So I don't know how this is gonna run. It's probably gonna be me go after collectibles. There you are, my savior from lumber. Professor, please. It would be most rude to waste any more time of his. Might we discuss the focus of your next research project and what it is you require of him? Yes, of course. Time is of the essence, honestly. And I do not know what I would do without you. Well, it's most flattering, Professor. Thank you. I mean it. I would be lost. Completely and utterly lost. Yes, sir. Yes, quite famished besides. So absorbed was I in my research that I had all but forgotten my need to rest and subsistence. Were it not for your kind gift, I would surely have expired by now. Oh, I thought you meant... yes. Yes, of course. Always happy to help. Provided our research is deemed of value to the studium, we are supplied with clothing, food, and shelter, but only the bare essentials, mind you. You need but look around to know the veracity of my words. We do as we are instructed, researching and gathering resources. But what value do these things truly have in the grand scheme of things? The study of 1,000 civilizations and nothing here has changed. The culture of Charlian remains as stagnant as the threadbare Atari we wear day in and day out. Well, I must confess, you do have a point about our garments. Should my shirt and trousers be soiled? I would have little recourse but to wear them inside out. But to be perfectly honest, I have no qualms with the way we live here in Charlene. That's all well and good. But would you be content to let your children live in such austere conditions? Your children's children? Children? Why would you ever Why ever would you bring up such a thing? It is a subject I had thought to broach for some time. After all, you shall be my sole company for the foreseeable future, and I yours, correct? Yes, I suppose you're right. I'm perfectly content as we are. Of course, if you would prefer other company. Can we get to the point? This has been wonderful, but I should be going. I got better things to do, but the clock is ticking ever for me. And deny us the pleasure of your company? I have long wished for the help of a third party, and insist you stay to aid with our research. A third party? Splendid. I am resolved to change our current way of life. However, in order to do so successfully, I must first determine what cultures are best suited to blend with ours. As such, my research shall involve recreating the lifestyles of other cultures within this very building. So that was the cause of your brow or late. Well, it is a marvelous idea, Professor. Which is where your experience as a botanist come into play. I would have you gather the materials necessary for contemporary creations. Though we do have a great deal of resources on hand at present, they are as yet inadequate for my plans. Now, if you excuse me, I require time to consider which culture I shall attempt to emulate first. Okay. Have you ever seen such an inspiring sight? It is a relief to see Master Tenkin has at last chosen a subject of his research results. I myself have long been interested in the world's manner of people and their customs. In fact, that is precisely why I was so keen to work with gleaners, well versed as they are in the lore of distant lands. My parents, too, had a love for learning of other cultures. It was their fondness for the Far East and its beautiful flowers that gave them inspiration for my name. Despite knowing the origin of my name, I never gave it much thought. That is, until one day when the professor commented on it in one of his brilliant lectures. However, he did not stop there. Professor Taggart continued by musing on how even a single flower can go by many names. Different regions will know it differently, after all. He then went on to talk of how this difference in location, language, and lifestyle could be profound impact on how we think. We, Aura, have our roots in the Far East, though I only know the Australian way of life, he said. I have long wondered what change might occur within my own mind, should I someday visit my ancestral home. It is this very question which drives my research. Yes. Even now I remember his words also carry. That lecture inspired me to take up my current post. Hmm. Yet, though I have done my utmost to assist him, our failure to present any findings has left me with not to show of my own achievements. Oh, how I long to conduct research with him in the Far East, just the two of us. Just the two of you, eh? Oh my. What are you implying with that tone? I think you know. No, perhaps it is time I was honest for once. You see, I am rather fond of Professor Tankin. Hmm. To be honest, it is more than a little disconcerting that he has not noticed my feelings when, when even you have. However, given that his current research is squarely focused on creating a better life for us, I feel this is an opportunity I cannot pass up. But I have no experience in matters of the heart. Like a fool, my youth was spent with my nose buried in books. Would you perchance be more experienced in matters of romance? I would be forever grateful for your help in winning the professor's affairs. Um, you're gonna have to find someone else. Truly? You will help me? Well, thank you so much. Well, you two certainly seem to be getting along. Have you come to a decision? As you are doubtless aware, Charlian is frightfully cold all year round. However, this has led to rapid progress in our ability to control our environs. Nothing proves the fact more than Labyrinthos. It is so presently warm down there. You would be forgiven for thinking you were somewhere altogether more tropical. This inspired me to look into the lifestyles of those who actually reside in balmy climes. We may yet happen upon a discovery or two that would never be made simply shivering in the cold. In line with the culture we shall seek to emulate first is none other than Razahan. I need you to go and collect a few things that can only be attained in Razahan. Okay. Let's do this. What? Wow. Culture. Okay. I made a I made a list of a few heinous examples we require to emulate life in Razahan, and well, there are certainly quite a few things you would struggle to produce here in Charlotte. There's one particular which is used to make both vibrant dyes and special spices. Anyway, best of luck gathering. Yep, they're gonna want me to find. Yep, okay. This much. don't understand why it does that. Hang on a sec. The radio station I was listening to decided. Oh. Fall apart. Fine. Um. Wow. Yeah. Just straight up, just. What the? Astronomy. Enter. Here we go. Huh? Come on, there's gotta be a. There we go. Polygon. Okay. Uh, 2210. That's my chuck, bud. Hmm. Perfectly splendid. Oh my, how vibrant. You can certainly tell this wasn't sourced around here. These leaves are desiccated before being turned into spices. They're commonly found in Danish cooking, as you might expect, but alchemists, they are also used them to fashion various medical tinctures. This is gonna be simple. Take the items you bought them, set to work in emulating a culture. You made a tree. Oh, uh, that kind of looks like the what's it called? What he's wearing kind of reminds me of the Blue Mage relic gears. The relic gear set in 11. Most colorful, would you not agree? Alas, one would surely freeze to death wearing these clothes in Charlium for very long. But while their cuisine is quite delectable, I must say, it is rather spicy for my own palate. Perhaps their love for spice developed out of necessity? A fine hypothesis indeed. Pangaji. Food is prone to expire all too quickly in climates such as Razahan. Copious use of spices not only help to increase our appetite, it also masks any unpleasant odors that may come from food on the brink of spoiling. And with spoiling food comes the risk of harmful bacteria, a likely reason for the region's struggles with sickness over the years. I can think of no better catalyst to spur innovation in medicine than the mastery of alchemy. This, for example, a tonic to raise the body's core temperature to protect from the cold. Resourceful as always. Thank you, Professor. Sorry, I was writing another song. Returning to their penchant for colorful hue, I believe I understand the reasoning for that as well. Simply put, primary colors stand out even under the relentless rays of the sun. Hence, everything from their buildings to their bracelets were made in bold primary colors. Each color represents different concepts. Red, for example, represents fire. Close relative orange represents the spiritual fire that rages within one's soul, the very source of life itself. This is why they believe orange to be an auspicious color for would-be monsters and the like. Would-be. You don't say. Why, that's a good thing to know. What else could you tell us of Razahan? Oh, plenty, but I find experience to be a better teacher. So come, let us live as the Henners do, and I'm sure we will happen upon countless discoveries. Oh, this is going to be rather swimming. I hope this research might bring us closer together, but I never dreamt we would end up living together. Oh. Fledgling matchmaker. Yeah. If you haven't realized it, this entire quest line is all about forming a relationship between them. The culture of Silurium. We're going to Golemald next. We come at a good time. I do believe the professor has another assignment for you. Good to see you, my friend. We were in the midst of summarizing what we've learned, living an approximation of the Hammer's lifestyle while we commit our thoughts to parchment. I would ask you to acquire a few new things we need for our next sampling of culture. And where did you have in mind exactly? Golemald. Empire. Oh my, I certainly wasn't expecting that. Do you truly believe there ought to learn from them to improve our way of living? I understand your trepidation here. While their history is filled with countless invasions and much suffering, there may yet come a day when we live in peace alongside the people of Golemald. Though I realize how unlikely that may seem at present. But the winds of change blow fiercely now, and there may soon come a day when they seek shelter here in Charlian. Knowing they cannot manipulate ether as we do, I wish to better understand their culture should we need to play the hospitable host. I feel like a fool for thinking you are only pursuing the project to improve the lives of those who at present call Charlian home. Such genius. To that end, I would ask you to procure a most used staple of Garlean living. I speak of an ore unique to the region and a certain fruit there that has adapted to grow even in the coldest of climates. Oh, and do not fret. You do not need to bring back both. One or the other will suffice. How high does it have to be? 240. The score has to be above 240. Okay. I like this commercial. It's so funny. They're like, oh, winter behind us. It's time to start spring cleaning and stuff. And it's like, yeah, about that. I'm just looking out my window and just watching snow just drop to the ground and like a waterfall. It's like, yeah. There we go. Got it. And now I'm hearing a commercial about Breeze Line, which is my internet. They're like $20 for 100 megabytes. It's like reality check. I'm paying $80 for 250. Did I mention the upload is messy? I'll be calling them tomorrow about that. I will get that fixed. Not this time. This way. I haven't been relying on the tones and existing these in order to accurately emulate Function. I realized that there are a great many things you would never discover without experience. I'm so glad this is easy. Thank you so much. To even picture you searching out there in those cold climes sends a shiver down my spine. Truly, we are in your debt. This fruit is fantastic at growing in even the coldest conditions. Oh, I cannot wait to experience garlic cuisine for myself and see firsthand how it's been shaped by their climate. Be careful with that stuff. I don't think you should wear garlic and... Ooh. Can I eat that? That's gonna eat that. Haha. That's a garlic and that's a heater for Gollum. Yeah. And that's a gun. I must say, I'm warming up to these cozy clothes and magic tech heaters. All this would definitely improve life in Charlian. Alas, we've only been granted permission to use the heaters for the duration of our research. We'll have to return them to the Sunnium after we're done. That said, I think I just felt a bead of sweat trickle down my neck. Perhaps I won't miss them as much as I thought. I take it you have no need for this piping hot Garlian cuisine cooked with magic tech kitchen utensils? Oh, Professor, no, I would gladly sample any food prepared with skill for hands such as yours. Provided one is given the necessary instruction, even a child could operate these magic tech devices. And at the heart of all magic tech lies Sororium, a most efficient and convenient energy source indifferent to the whims of nature like wind and hydraulic power. Its mass production allowed the Empire to bring magic tech to the people at large, with further refinements to their manufacturing process, affording them surplus time and manpower which they applied to even greater innovations. That said, the importance of alternatives to Sorlium cannot be ignored. It is, after all, a finite resource. Should we completely squander the world's resources, we will inevitably suffer for our lack of foresight. Exactly. Professor, this looks exquisite. I thought as much when we were studying Handelscorner, but you really are a fantastic cook. You flatter me, Hunter. I would be nothing without the recipes that guide me. Although it does warm my heart to see you enjoy my cooking, so there are many, many dishes I wish to try my hand at. I would be delighted if you were willing to sample them as well. Oh, it would be my pleasure. Is it my imagination, or has the professor been more affectionate towards me as of late? It really makes me wonder what will become of our relationship when his research reaches its conclusion. Oh, but I must stop daydreaming. There is yet work to be done. Nice. Are we going to... Yeah, we are. Private novice matchmaker. Weird. Oh, I'm positively desperate to know what culture we shall experience next. Welcome back, my friend. We'll be continuing our experience as Garleans a while longer. Though I would like you to set about procuring materials for the next step of our research. Although, to be honest, I'm still to decide on where that step might be. Well, thus far we have lived as people in freezing climate and ferocious heat. I would say it's time we set our sights on an altogether different sort of inclement environment. Spot on as always. The people of Golemall may have overcome nature's fury with their sterling use of technology, but they are far too reliant on Cerulean. Consider this: how would they cope if they were suddenly unable to attain their precious fuel? One should never be without a contingency plan in case they are thrusted to much unsustainable inverners. That is certainly true. However, what kind of culture could take root in an area that is effectively uninhabitable? That is precisely what I have been mulling over of late. I wish to look into how exactly culture could come to exist in such places. The issue is, well, such regions tend to be uninhabitable as a result to their harsh conditions. In short, there is nowhere that meets my criteria to begin with. Yes, that does seem like something of a paradox, but there could be merit to investigating the idea. You're well troubled with that, sure, yes? Can you think of any place that may suit our curious? Have you considered the moon? A settlement on the moon by the name of Marilyminium. Well, that would certainly fulfill my requirements, but even if it truly exists, it's not as if one can travel to the moon on a whim. I can. You're being entirely serious, aren't you? Good gracious, you never fail to surprise. Indeed, however, I feel obligated to mention that we know absolutely nothing of life on the moon, assuming it is even possible. Pray head gather whatever items you believe are necessary to create life there. Sure. Yeah, it's 240 again. It's been a long time since I've been on the moon. It's 7:30 and I'm tired. Wow. 2. It messed me up. Little by little, we get closer and closer to the end of it all. Like I said, this is going a little bit faster. Because I'm not struggling to make the items and things. It's just go, collect, have a nice day. Fight at 12. We really are capable of travel to the moon. This may be the most surreal moment of my life to date. These are carrots, aren't they? Not what I expected to be found growing on the moon, but thank you. Thank you so much. What do we got? It says no. Oh my god. Professor, are you certain this is representative of life on the moon? But of course it is. It comes from the Lalafell, a race that calls Maryland our home. Well, that is all well and good, but is it necessary for us to don these ridiculous outfits? Well, I thought it might help us experience life as the operates do. Well, you also have to be small. As for all these carrots. Make no mistake, Professor, it is wonderful to know that agriculture is possible even on the moon. But I fear a diet comprised entirely of one type of root vegetable will not hold up to scrutiny. That may be so. But civilizations have had to move and adapt countless times in our history, and they were not always able to eat exactly what they longed for. There may come a day when we too are forced to move to the moon. Professor doesn't seem to be enjoying himself much. Perhaps he is not fond of carrots? I realized this is not the most appropriate time. I'd be too tired to focus on my mad pursuit, but soon my time will come. I can feel it.